Of all the preseason games I've seen in my life, Rube, that was one of them.
Yeah, it was an interesting afternoon at the lake.
It certainly was. Eagles end up losing 22-13 to the Cleveland Browns. This is the Eagle Eye podcast brought to you by Nissan, Reuben, Frank, and Dave Zangaro. We'll go through what happened in the game and some good, some bad, and we'll look at the good and say, well, maybe some of these things don't get too excited about. We'll look at the bad and see what actually was bad and what you have to worry about.
Yeah, I think that's fair because some of the bad is almost irrelevant. Some of the bad is kind of scary.
Yeah. So in this game, obviously no starters. Well, no stars played. So none of the big contract guys played in this game. But you did have on defense some of the players battling for starting spots play. So you had all of the cornerbacks up except for Quinyon and Cooper DeJean. And then at safety, you had everyone up except for Reed Blankenship. So you had Sidney Brown out there. You had Drew Mukuba. You had Tristan McCollum. So those were the guys we really wanted to watch today. And some did well and some didn't.
Yeah. I think some of the competitions, really, and this goes for both sides of the ball, are getting some clarity.
I think that's true. And then there are some spots where there's not a lot of clarity, and less than 3 weeks before the opener, there are some current concerns about this team, and they're not as big as the concerns about some other teams in the league. So you have to remember that all things considered, like the Eagles are in a really good position, but when you focus in on this team, there are some questions yet to be answered.
If there's competition at a spot and nobody's good enough, does that mean there's clarity? There's clarity that nobody's doing well, but yeah, we'll go through it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go through my stock up, stock down from this game. We do this for all the preseason games, and we'll start off with a stock up, and we'll kind of go back and forth a little bit. My stock up, or one of them from this game, was Jihaad Campbell. I thought he looked really good. Honestly, I thought he was in the game too long. I saw what I needed to see early in this game. He had that blitz, kind of like a sim pressure, actually, because they dropped Josh Uche, but looked really good attacking the A-gap, got in there, and got the quarterback down for a sack. I would have taken him out of the game right then. That was enough for me.
Yeah, had some nice plays in coverage, too, a little later after that. But that sack was impressive. Two things that stood out to me. He gets there really quick. He's just fast. And, and he's so athletic, and he finishes. And that's something we don't really get to see at practice because they don't finish, and they don't tackle to the ground. But
sometimes he does.
Sometimes he does. That's fair. But yeah, I thought he looked fast and athletic, and I really liked his coverage today. I thought he looked really good covering backs out of the backfield. He had that one, I believe it was a third down, and he was covering the running back and tackled him for a 4 or 5 yard gain. It was like a 3rd and 9. Just solo tackle and very sure tackle and good form tackle, and you love seeing that. I agree. I was surprised he was out there as long as he was. I've seen what I need to see from him. He's going to be really good.
Never thought I'd be really clamoring for Dallas Camp to get out there, but yeah, I saw enough from Jihaad Campbell. It was fun. I talked to him after this game about the key to timing a blitz like that, and he kind of went into the intricacies of knowing exactly, trying to pick up on the cadence. And he said a lot of it too is just instinct as well. You just got to fly to the football, and he does that better than a lot, especially downhill like that. And I think he's going to be fine dropping in coverage because he's so long. And even if he has a misstep, I think that length helps him make up for it. But him running downhill and attacking, that's scary to see.
Yeah, you're right. And I just think he's going to help this team in so many different ways. He's going to be able to, Vic is going to deploy him in a lot of different ways. And I think he's going to make a lot of plays in a lot of different ways. And he's, I kind of felt like he was going to be good. He might be good quicker than I expected. He looks very comfortable out there.
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to win based off his athleticism alone. And I think he does have a lot of refinement left. I think he has to still learn how to pick up the playbook and to do everything in the defense within the structure of it. But even as an edge rusher, they were kind of putting him on the line like an overhang a little bit. Like I think his athleticism alone will allow him to win at times. You know, when Vic was talking about how much work he has to do to become a pass rusher, I agree with that because he's not refined yet, but I think he's going to be able to win just based on his athleticism and physicality.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then he'll just keep getting better from there.
Okay, stock down. And this is an all-encompassing one. The offensive line, the backup offensive line. I could have singled people out, and we can as we talk about it, but I just thought that unit was awful today.
They really were. There was nowhere for the backs. They didn't protect in pass pro. As a group, it was bad. It was just bad football.
Yeah. And on one hand, this is the backup line, right? So maybe you don't worry about it too much, but then you start to think about it. And this team lost a lot of depth on the offensive line from last year, right? You basically lose Tyler Steen as a depth player because he's now a starter. And you lose Fred Johnson, who was your swing tackle, who, obviously there was a drop-off when Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson were out of the game, but I thought Big Fred gave them some good snaps last year. Didn't love what I saw from Kendall Lamb or Matt Pryor in this game.
Yeah, I thought Matt Pryor really struggled. Saw some good things from Drew Kendall at times and a couple good things early from Brett Toth. But, I would say as a group, they were not good. And the tackles especially, I thought were bad. Matt Pryor's been a disappointment. And I kind of had him earmarked for a starting guard job. He's been – there's a reason he hasn't played tackle lately in the NFL, and I think we saw it today.
It's kind of strange to me that they're still trying him at tackle. And look, he's in the battle to win the swing tackle job. We saw when Lane wasn't out there at right tackle, it was Matt Pryor this week in practice. So, I don't love him at tackle. I don't hate him at guard, but I don't think him at tackle is the right move. Yeah,
I just don't think he's a tackle. There's a reason he hasn't played tackle in the league for the last, 4 or 5 years.
It was like even Miles Hinton, who I thought as a rookie would have a chance to compete for that swing tackle job. He isn't. I think there's something there. I think he has a chance to be really good. I don't think he's ready to play just yet. We saw him get beat by Julian Okwara for that big pressure on the interception. But, yeah.
That was a former Eagle convention there, yeah.
Yeah, Julian Okwara hits Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and the ball pops out and goes to KJ Henry,
both
who was here in the spring.
Maybe not the most prominent former Eagles, but former Eagles.
And look, I think Miles Hinton's going to be fine long term, but that's a tough spot for him too, going against a veteran who's probably annoyed that he's even playing this deep into a preseason game, and he has a rookie on his plate, and he just bends the edge around him.
I will say this: there were a couple snaps at practice on what's today, Saturday, Friday, so it'd be Thursday, where I thought Hinton had a couple really good reps. Like you see it at times. But obviously the consistency isn't there. This is a rookie late round pick, and he's got a long way to go. But I think there is something there also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just had that whole group as how concerned are you about the backup offensive line this year? And if everything goes well, you don't have to worry about it. But
it's a concern after today. And you're right. I mean, maybe none of these guys will play. I mean, I kind of feel like Landon Dickerson's going to be ready in the opener after. When a guy wanders out to the practice field with beers, it's kind of not a guy that's not going to be ready for the Cowboys in 3 weeks. So I think he'll be okay. But most years everybody doesn't play 17 games, and it's not. I think they really made an effort to upgrade the talent level with the backup O-line, and I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, Kendall Lamb is the guy who's a 10-year vet. This is year 11 for him. I've been a little underwhelmed by Kendall Lamb.
And that's not even – we're not even considering Quinyon Green, who,
Yeah, he's hurt.
This is a guy who was a first-round pick, and he's not even in the conversation. He's not even playing. But he's part of that disappointing backup group.
Sure. Let's get back to some happy stuff. Drew Mukuba, his first NFL preseason game. He obviously missed game 1 with that shoulder injury. Heck of a performance. Has that pick 6, and then he jumps on a football later for a fumble recovery. I thought it was a nice performance from the second round pick.
Yeah, the interception was kind of a weird play. I mean, he pushed off the one guy, kind of got in between. Somebody must have run a wrong route because those two guys shouldn't have been so close to each other. But then the tight end kind of just lets the ball go right.
Yeah, he laid right in front of it.
Yeah, he did. Nice looking return. He looked fast. Got through a little traffic early and then just kind of coasted in. And then, he's in the right place at the right time on the fumble. And I guess it could have bounced to anybody, but some guys are just around the ball. The ball finds them. And
think about CJ Gardner-Johnson, who he might end up replacing. All of his picks weren't like spectacular. He makes the play, but he's a guy who comes down with the football, and sometimes that matters.
Yeah, I think about like Jordan Hicks that one year when whatever he did, the ball would just find him, whether it was a fumble or interception. But, look, if you're in the right place and if you're active and you're physical, that's going to happen. I don't think Sidney Brown has had a bad summer. He didn't play well in the first game, but I think the job is Mukuba's. I mean, it's starting to look that way. I mean, they got to decide soon, and I think they wanted Mukuba to win it, and you see what happened. The injury was a little bit of a setback, but that's the other thing. This is a guy who missed a week, didn't play in the first preseason game, so he's behind. And then he comes out and just plays like this. And I thought he was solid all around. He
gave up that one pass up the seam, but he bounced back from it. You're going to give up plays here and there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was an impressive afternoon for him, and he's a fun player.
He said it was his first pick 6 ever. Well, at least in really competitive high school, college level football.
Really? You think a guy like that in high school would get a couple?
No. He said the closest he got was last year, and he got tripped up. So he said when he caught this one, he was like, I'm getting there.
Yeah, it was.
He kept the football. He's going to frame it.
Good. Maybe he can replace it with one that counts.
It counts for him.
It counts for him. But
if it wins him a starting job, it counts a lot.
That's true. It was, and it's going to help. I mean, I think he's in the lead in that battle, clearly.
I don't know how clear that is. He missed significant time. Sidney is still I think Sidney's done some nice things. Sidney had maybe his best day of practice. I was watching the defense on Thursday. I thought that was maybe one of his best days of the summer. So I think it's still ongoing.
Yeah, I don't think he's done anything to lose it. I think he's been fine. But when you want your rookie second round pick to win that job, and I think the other guy has to really outplay him, and he hasn't. So we'll see. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but I think right now it's Mukuba's job to lose.
Okay, a stock down. This is another all-encompassing one, and some of it's not their fault, but some of it was the backup running backs. I know there weren't a lot of holes, but you'd like to see them be able to create a little bit on their own, and that just wasn't the case. Montrell Johnson ended up being their leading rusher with 20 yards on 6 carries. Keelan Robinson had 9 yards on 6 carries. A.J. Dillon, 7 on 3 carries. Shunderick Powell, -5 on 3.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't think there was anywhere to run. I didn't see any holes. I didn't feel like any of the backs were missing holes. I thought they were running hard. I thought they were aggressive and physical and taking on tacklers. I just don't think any of them had anywhere to run. There was one. I thought there was
Montrell Johnson slipped on one cutback.
Yeah.
And then A.J. Dillon had the weirdest play ever where he caught the football 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. As a veteran, you got to know to just slap that one to the ground.
Yeah, you're going to kill your stats doing that. What did it go for, minus 14 yards or something?
Yeah, and you lose yards for the team.
Yeah, well, I'm more concerned with individual stats. But, it was funny because the O-line guys were trying to knock it down, and they batted it right to him. And maybe he thought he could make a play and get some yards back, but
what a preseason play that was, huh?
That was about as preseason as it gets. The longest run they had was 8 yards. Yeah, but I really didn't. I mean, none of these guys. I really wanted to see Montrell Johnson, who, we didn't see in the first game. It's just hard to make any judgments based on a guy who just doesn't have anywhere to run. I'll tell you what, for him to get 3.3 yards a carry behind that line is pretty impressive. I mean, I thought he ran hard, but just didn't have anywhere to go.
All right. Stock up, Smael Mondon. And this is a big one because I thought he struggled a little bit in that first preseason game, had a couple missed tackles, a couple plays where he was out of position. He was all over the field in this one.
He was. I thought he was very good, really physical, and in position. He just looked like a guy who was in position all the time, and tackled well. I thought he tackled really well. He took good angles to the ball, and he was all over the place. I really liked the way he played.
He had that one series where he had a tackle on a run play, and then he sniffed out the screen on the very next play. It's good to see a young player just stack plays like that a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. And he really should be a very good special teamer with his size, his speed, his athleticism, his toughness. I think he's going to be a really good. He'll be a core special teamer.
If the Eagles hadn't drafted Jihaad Campbell in the first round, how much will we be talking about Smael Mondon right now?
Yeah, I think he'd be in the mix. With Mukuba out, I mean, it's kind of crazy that he's the fifth linebacker if you count Mukuba. He's good. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the future holds, but I could see him being a linebacker in the NFL at some point in his career because I think he can play.
I think he can. Yeah. Stock down. We'll do one more stock down, then take a break. Brandon Johnson, who I like quite a bit, backup, nickel corner, had decent coverage on some of these, but did give up 3 passes in that first half. Who was it? Oh, it was Jamari Thrash, who was able to catch 3 balls on him.
Yeah, it's the most catches we've seen by a guy named Thrash with the number 80 in that stadium ever. I thought he had good coverage on all 3 of those, honestly.
Yeah, but that's fair, but I don't know. I'd like to see him make a play in one of those.
No, that's fair too. And Gabriel was really accurate early, and he kind of picked apart the Eagles on those first 3 drives. The only thing that saved it from them scoring on 3 straight drives was the pick 6. But I don't feel any. I like Brandon. I think he's competed all summer. I think he's.
Yeah, he's been good this summer. I mean, he surpassed Perry Nickerson, the veteran, to be the number 2 nickel corner. I thought Perry Nickerson had a good game, by the way.
He played really well today, but I don't think any less of Brandon Johnson after today. I still like his summer.
Yeah, he's someone who is worth keeping around.
I think so.
I don't think he'll be on the roster, but I do think he will be on the practice squad and someone who's worth developing because I think he could be a player at some point.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's take a break, and we will finish this when we come back.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and NissanUSA.com today.
Eagles fans, be a part of the Birds takeover in Kansas City with NBC Sports Philadelphia and Philly Sports Trips. Includes optional airfare, hotel, an exclusive pep rally, all-inclusive tailgate, ticket to the game, and more. Book your Eagles ultimate fan experience today. All right, Rube, let's go back to stock up. And the next one I have on my list is Azeez Ojulari. Someone who's been really quiet for most of the summer, but just flat out wins a rep against Cornelius Lucas, who's a veteran, been around a long time. A clean win, and he gets a sack. A little bit earlier in this game, he got beat on that end around, and I was like, uh-oh, bad play for Azeez Ojulari, but he made up for it.
Yeah, that was a nice rep for him. We really haven't seen a ton from him at practice. I don't know what to make of that competition. Just when you think Uche is clearly the better guy, and then Ojulari makes the play, and just when you think, oh, the veteran, Ojulari's coming on, then Uche makes the play. I don't know. I don't think either one has been great. They've taken turns making plays here and there, and it was good to see Ojulari make that one. It was an impressive move.
I think in general, Ojulari is getting better now. I thought he made some plays in the joint practices. Then he comes back in the preseason game and he gets a sack. I think he's trending the right way.
Could be. Yeah. I don't feel great about either one. I don't feel awful about either one.
I think they're both on the roster, right?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that.
Okay, stock down. Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Like we mentioned, the protection makes everything tougher to evaluate, but he certainly didn't play well.
Yeah, and look, a quarterback has to know what to do when the protection breaks down, and whether you're throwing it away or whatever, dumping it off to a back or you it's how you respond in those situations that really is going to be revealing. And he didn't respond well when the protection broke down. That was disappointing. He took a sack. He held on the ball too long a couple times. Plus, pocket awareness wasn't great, and obviously the interception. You can't do that. So
yeah, and on that interception, it was a high snap from Brett Toth, but it looked like one he should have been able to handle.
Yeah, I thought so. You kind of assume that it's going to be a bad snap because that's what Brett Toth. He's just not a good snapper. It was a little high, but it was controllable. And
I thought it was weird, by the way, that they had Brett Toth. We haven't seen Drew Kendall play guard all summer, and they played him at guard in this game when they moved Toth to center.
I didn't understand that. He did some good things on a couple of plays, Kendall, at guard. But, yeah. But that's all on DTR. And, he's been better than McCord in practice. And look, McCord wasn't great, and we'll get to him. But not a good day against his former team.
Stock up. Patrick Johnson. Yeah. Preseason Hall of Famer Patrick Johnson.
I just hope there's a spot on the roster for him because he's just a guy you like having on your team. And whether it's special teams or defense, he makes plays. And I know he's not going to play on defense. He's a good special teamer. He's fun to watch. He's just had a really good summer. And
let's find the spot for him. Okay, so it's Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt, your top two. If we just said Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche, that's 4. You're probably keeping 5? 5 edge rushers?
Yeah.
You can make a case for Patrick Johnson, even though Agbo Okoronkwo has played well. I might have added an extra syllable there.
Sorry.
Agbo Okoronkwo. He's played well, but at that point, maybe you go with the special teamer. And Antoine Powell-Ryland hasn't really done much as a late-round pick. I think Patrick Johnson has a chance to be that 5th.
Yeah, I wonder if he's not really a defensive player. Although, look, he had an interception and he's made plays. I don't know if there's a special category for a special teamer. But I guess he goes under edge rushers. And you're keeping 3 edge rushers now who are kind of – you just don't know what you're going to get from them as far as pass rush. That's the concern. If Powell-Ryland had done anything like maybe he's on the 53, I think he's kind of earmarked for the practice squad. There's guys like O'Shawn Mathis. There's all these guys, but none of them have really stood out. Yeah. what do they call him? Agbo. I mean, he's probably had a better. I mean, he's looked good in practice. He just hasn't. We haven't seen it in games. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting question there.
And how much is that fifth edge rusher really going to play on defense?
Well, the what I'm getting at is like if you don't have a ton of faith in the third and fourth edge rushers, maybe you want someone who's more of an edge rusher than a special teamer as your fifth guy. I honestly don't know what they're going to get from Uche and Ojulari as pass rushers. I just don't know. I don't have a ton of faith in either one. I have a little more confidence in Uche still. But yeah, you'd like one of those guys to be a guy who can just come in on third down and you feel confident he can maybe get some pressure. So,
and they could piece it together a little bit. Maybe, Uche is your third down guy. Ojulari is on early downs if you need one of those other guys to take a break.
Yeah, it could be. We'll see. I'm just not sure the third edge rusher that they need is in this group.
Very possible. I think that there's a spot where they might add. That to me is one that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
My last stock down, Andre Sam, just had a really bad angle on that long run. And that was at a point in the game where, and look, I know the flow of the game might not matter to some people, but when you're in the game, you're trying to win the game. And there were just a lot of punts back and forth. No one was getting anything going offensively. And then there was a 54-yard run, and he was responsible with a bad angle and a missed tackle.
Yeah, and he's a guy I like, but yeah, that was not a good play for him.
I had some more stock ups, and I think the reason I had more stock ups was because I lumped some people together.
Can we just go back to edge rusher for a second?
Sure.
Can Patrick Johnson be, like, we know his traits, his speed, his athleticism that we see on special teams. Can he be a guy who can get some pressure? We've seen it in preseason and preseason games, training camp. Can he be a pass rusher? He's not has 0 career sacks in 4 years.
Yeah, he hasn't even played very much.
Yeah.
On defense. Let me look up his. He last year with the Giants, he played 46 defensive snaps. He played 38 defensive snaps the year before with the Eagles.
I know.
In 2022, that was his most. He played 213 defensive snaps, 21%. That's by far the most of his career.
Yeah, I'm just spitballing because I think he's got the traits to do it, and we've seen him do it in preseason. It's a long shot. So the one thing I found really interesting in these joint practices was the way they were rotating their edge rushers. At times they'd have Nolan Smith with the second team. At times they'd have Jalix Hunt with the second team. And at first you see that and you go like, well, what the heck are they doing? And then it became pretty clear. They wanted to see those other guys with the top line and against the top offensive line to see what they had and to see if one of them would step up and become a viable option. So it was Azeez Ojulari, Josh Uche, Agbo Okoronkwo, and Patrick Johnson. Those 4 were rotating in with the ones, and at times they would drop like a Jalix, the second team, just to see what they have. So that tells you they might not really know yet. Yeah, I think that's a good conclusion because why would they?
Okay, I have 4 more stock ups. 2 of them did not play in this game. So my 2 other stock ups that played in this game, one was Bryon Young, the defensive tackle, made some plays, had a tackle for loss in this game, and he played a ton of his snaps at that nose tackle position. And that got me thinking a little bit that, if that's something the Eagles value, having someone who fits the body type more to play on the nose as a backup to Jordan Davis, he would probably be the guy.
Yeah, and even though I think Jordan Davis's snaps are going to be up considerably from last year, I don't think it's going to be higher than, 65%. What's a good number to expect from him?
Yeah, well, it's also like they're not in their 5-man front as much anymore, especially when they after they are Cooper DeJean as the nickel, they didn't need to live in those 5-man fronts because they could stop the run without it.
Yeah, that's true. They do seem to like him, and he was one guy that looked good today.
Gabe Hall played well too, but Bryon Young was the one I wanted to highlight because we haven't really seen it from him. He missed that first game with a groin injury. He's someone who was here all of last season, was hurt. So it was good to see him flash a little bit. Former third-round pick.
Yeah, drafted ahead of the other Bryon Young, as we established the other day, which I was wrong about.
I also have Kyle McCord in stock up, and part of this was because it was so bad in his first game that even though he wasn't great in this one, 8 for 16, 47 yards, and the touchdown, he did some good things in this game.
Yeah, the touchdown was a nice read. I like that third down completion. I think he had late in the game to, I think it was Taylor Morin, but I'm not sure.
Taylor Morin started to catch some balls at the end there.
Yeah. It was better. Boy, he just misses some open guys, though. He was better than DTR, certainly. He had the interception negated. That was a tip ball, so it doesn't bother me. Could have had some.
I love the touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, he recognized he was going to get a zero blitz, so he knew he was going to get hit. He stood in there and delivered the ball. I thought that showed a lot.
Showed a lot of toughness. He knew he was going to get clobbered. And Nye Smith has had a touchdown in both games. You know what I really liked?
Both on slants.
I'm sorry?
Both on slants in the kind of tight red zone.
Yeah. He runs off the field, and the first guy to congratulate him was Johnny Wilson, which I thought was really cool. Because, I mean, I think Johnny Wilson has a teammate, but there are two guys who are in that competition for roster spots.
Johnny Wilson played just 8 snaps in this game. He got out of there pretty quick. So, I think it's pretty clear he's the fourth receiver.
I think it seems that way. I mean, that's playing 8 snaps at the beginning of the game tells you something.
The two guys I had stock up who didn't play in this game, Tyler Steen, Will Shipley.
Will Shipley didn't play, huh?
Mm-hmm. Hanging out with a ball cap on the sideline.
Yeah. Did you see Nakobe when Zach Bond was getting interviewed on the sideline?
He was drinking water.
He was drinking Gatorade out of 2 cups, and he was like alternating cups. I don't know what he was
They
doing.
have fun doing those things in the background during preseason.
It was very funny.
Landon Dickerson in week 1 eating Uncrustables behind Lane.
Interesting. But yeah, start with Steen. I mean, he's your right guard, and he has been. I mean, I guess the second day of camp when he went back out there and there was no rotation or anything, it was pretty clear. And then he's gotten every rep, and then not playing today kind of cements it. He's your starting right guard. And
yeah, they're not going to announce it because they don't. Nick hates doing that, but that was his announcement.
Nick won't even announce that Jalen's the opening day starter. Either one. But yeah, I think Steen. I give him a lot of credit. You know, he got beat out as a rookie, got beat out last year. Really worked hard this offseason by all accounts and has had a very good summer. And if he's good, I mean, that O-line, you're looking at just no weaknesses on it. And he's not going to be up to the level of the other 4 guys, but solid. It's all you need from him. And I think he has been.
Yeah, as long as he's league average, you take that.
Yeah, and I think he has a chance to be a little better than that.
What do you make of Will Shipley not playing in this game? I thought that was notable. He was like the one guy I was like, oh, interesting. He's not playing.
Yeah, that was interesting. And, I mean, I think they have some guys who've shown some interesting things behind those first 3 running backs. But, I mean, the gap between Will Shipley and whoever's next, whether it's Shonderick Powell or Montreal Johnson, whoever it is a big one. So, yeah.
So, well, my point was that A.J. Dillon played in this game, the veteran, and Will Shipley didn't. Does that tell you anything about the pecking order?
I don't think so. No.
For me, I think it does.
I still think they like Dillon more as a runner, and we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. And Kevin Pillow said, you know, they're looking for what Shipley can do other than receiving and looking what Dillon can do other than running. But I think that might have been part of let's just try to at least resemble like an NFL offense here for at least a couple drives.
You think? I mean, because Will Shipley is a second-year player. He wouldn't have thought anything of it if they told him to suit up for this game.
But I don't think there was never any question whether he was going to make the team. It's just what those roles are going to look like. And I kind of have a hunch that him not playing does not mean he's going to get more touches or more carries than A.J. Dillon. I could be wrong. Maybe they come out, he's the number 2 back. I think they've both had really good summers. They're very different players. I think if you're talking about a high volume, if you need it for a series or a half or a game, I think A.J. Dillon's better suited to that. Maybe it's part of it is just he didn't play last year. Let's get him as much playing time as possible. Get him in game mode. But we'll see. I still think they're both going to play. I think they're both going to contribute.
I think Shipley's clearly the 2.
We'll see. I don't know if it's clearly, but we'll see.
Okay. Didn't notice a ton from the corners today. It was probably a good thing, I guess, that they didn't give up any big plays, but they came out in this game and Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson were the starters. Then we saw Keely come off the field, and it was Adoree and Jakorian Bennett. Then we saw Adoree Jackson come up. So it was just a rotation with those 3. And then Mac McWilliams got involved too, first before Eli Ricks.
Yeah, and I still don't understand why Eli Ricks is at the bottom of that heap, but I'd like to see him get more reps. I really like that play Jakorian Bennett made on 84, lunging around him and knocking the ball down. It's just something we haven't seen from Keely or Adoree. And he did.
That was like a kind of a drag route, right? So he was with them for a while.
Yeah, he was. And it's so easy the refs weren't calling anything. I don't think anything was a penalty today. Like they were letting everything go. I
slipped them a 20 before the game. Let's get out of here.
He just wanted to go home. I think they had probably a rare opportunity to fly out of town tonight with the early start. But, he made that play without making any contact on the receiver. It's the kind of play we just haven't seen from the other corners. So I thought that was notable. And he had another play later in the game. He had a nice tackle for a short gain on the left sideline. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but I suspect Bennett might be the best of the bunch.
It's possible. It's concerning right now, trying to figure out what the heck's going to happen with that cornerback spot. People have asked me about the idea of moving Cooper DeJean to outside corner. Man, I think you really want to try to avoid that if you can. Maybe you get to a point where you're like, you need to, but then who's your nickel? They don't really have a nickel.
Yeah.
Mac McWilliams has played there at times, but he looks more comfortable outside. If you're going to do that, you might as well play Mac McWilliams outside.
Yeah. If you had to guess now, who's September 4th? Who's your corner?
Man, I really don't know. I think you're saying if it were me or if I'm Vic?
Both. Let's do both.
Okay. If it were me, I think I'd be scared and I would play Adoree Jackson. Because I think that like Keely's such a high variance player right now. Like he's going to give up some big plays, I think. And I don't think Adoree Jackson's going to make big plays, but I think he's at least going to be steadier. I think Vic is going to go with either Keely or Jakorian Bennett. Right now, I would think Keely because he just hasn't seen enough of Jakorian Bennett.
I think Vic's going to go with Adoree. I do, for the reasons you just said.
I just can't get over his comments about Adoree.
I know. I would start Bennett.
Stick with me. You would start Jakorian Bennett?
I would start Jakorian Bennett. And that might
just the unknown.
The grad, yeah. I don't know how he's not completely unknown anymore. We've seen him for a couple of weeks. I think he can play in this league. I don't know. I think you made an interesting point. I think Keely's more likely to make a big play, and he's more likely to give up a big play. I think Adoree Jackson's a little more closer to the mean. I don't think any of them are ideal answer.
How about Mac McWilliams? Even if it's not week 1, is there a chance that he ends up being that best option at some point?
Yeah, could be.
And it's not crazy, right? Like to start a 4th-round rookie.
No, they've done it before. It's an interesting thought. I'll tell you what.
If we're following Vic's comments, I mean, he's been more complimentary about Mac than anyone. Talking about a rookie's instincts.
Yeah, he's also the only rookie. I don't know if Vic's less likely to be Vic's going to tell it like it is. It's an interesting notion. I think you're right, though. I doubt he would be the opening day guy, but maybe if there's a point where Vic's more comfortable with him, he makes that change.
And also remember, I mean, Quinyon Mitchell last year was the 1st-round pick, and he didn't really get outside first-team reps consistently until like the week before the season opener. So there's a little bit of a history here with Vic, at least in one season where he slow played a rookie until he was just out there. So would it shock me if Mac McWilliams had a legitimate shot at this? No.
I just wish Eli Ricks was in the mix, and I sound like a broken record, but he's a guy that I think has some ability. He's got that length. I think he's a fundamentally good, solid corner. I don't get why he hasn't gotten any first-team reps, but Vic knows more about this stuff than me. I think.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about it, but it would have already happened. If it was
I agree. Yeah. It's not going to happen now.
Man, you got anything else from this game? I thought Dylan Gabriel looked pretty good.
He did. He didn't play last week, so this is his first game. Yeah, I thought he was really sharp, very accurate.
Eric Strong had 89 rushing yards on 13 carries. He had that long 54-yarder.
Yeah, that as opposed to a short 54-yarder. Eagles got outrushed.
Did that make you feel better about yourself?
It did. It really did.
I'm glad.
Yeah. You want to go through who didn't play? Everyone who didn't play, or?
I mean, I if you want.
Is there anybody who didn't play and that surprised you? Anybody who was healthy?
Yeah, we talked about Will Shipley. He was the name that stood out to me most of this group.
Your guy, Vakalahi, didn't play.
Yeah, I don't think that means he has the team made.
You're mean. Yeah, other than that, it's just all starters.
Yeah, the guys you'd suspect.
And guys who were hurt. Kenyon Green, Lewis Seen, Elijah Cooks. Yeah.
Shame Elijah Cooks couldn't play because he was having such a good summer before that shoulder injury in that preseason game, the first one. And he got back on the practice field this week, so I was hoping he'd have a chance to play. He didn't. It's funny now because we talk about Darius Cooper, like it was always going to be him to have a shot to make the roster, but it was Elijah Cooks throughout the first, week and a half of training camp. He was the guy. He was making plays every single day. And then since, I think he definitely has been passed by Darius Cooper.
Yeah, Coop only got one target. I don't know if they've seen enough of him the offense was just a mess today.
It's got to be tough for an evaluation standpoint on some of these players when you just couldn't get anything working in this game.
Yeah, and it's got to be frustrating for those wide receivers. I mean, obviously DTR and Kyle McCord weren't exactly sharp.
And the running backs, too. I mean, they're trying to put out tape, and there's really nowhere for them to run.
Yeah. So Eagles are off Sunday, and 3 more practices Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I wish there was another round of joint practices because they're really fun. I feel like you learn more about players in those than you do in regular practices.
Oh, I have one more player who played well today.
Oh.
Brayden Mann.
Oh, my God, yeah.
7 punts, which is a lot of punts. 366 yards, so an average of 52.3. He had a long of 67, and 3 of them he pinned inside the 20.
Yeah, he was pretty good. And let's see, they had 36 punt return yards, right? So his net was 44-3, if I'm doing my math right.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, he's looked great all summer. He's been pounding the ball. I'm surprised you let that go this long. Dave loves the special teamers.
I do.
But yeah, 3 more days of camp. I wish there was another round of joint practices with the Jets, but they'll go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, play Friday, and then final cut's coming up.
Yeah, and September 4th will be here before you know it. If you have a question for us, we're not going to get to them today, but eagleeye@nbcuni.com, that QR code's on the screen. We'll get back to answering some questions this week. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, click that like button and subscribe there as well. Roob, any final thoughts?
No, it's funny how fast training camp and the preseason goes. I mean, we're sitting here. How many days till the opener? 19.
Mm-hmm.
It happens so fast. Like once you get there to the start of camp, we're 19 days from the opener, so it's getting exciting.
All right, for Reuben Frank, who didn't have any final thoughts, I'm Dave Zangaro. This has been Eagle Eye presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.